Alright guys, quick review of the BetaFPV Meteor 75. BetaFPV sent this to me directly. This is a 75 millimeter 1S brushless whoop, and let me pull out the specs. This is the Meteor 75 1S whoop. It came Free Sky Bind and Fly, and it's listed as an indoor and outdoor whoop. It's got 1102 18,000 kV motors. Now, I'll just preface this with so BetaFPV reached out to me after they saw my Tiny Hawk 2 review, and they said, hey, we've got this new whoop quad coming out, the Meteor 75, and we would like you to compare it directly to the Tiny Hawk 2. Now, in their defense, they don't have a Tiny Hawk 2, so they haven't compared them. They're just asking us to do it. So real quick, let's just go down to the table and take a look at the packaging and the quad. Alright guys, so just a quick up close with the BetaFPV Meteor 75. This is the box. In addition to the other stuff, we've got some extra BT 2.0 connectors and some BT 2.0 power leads, like adapters. This is the quad, 75 millimeter. So it's the same size and weight as the Tiny Hawk 2. It's pretty durable. I did bring it to a race and I've been flying around the house. No issues. I have seen in like the Meteor 65 videos where like the canopy was discoloring from like the cracks and stuff. So this must be a different material because I haven't had those kind of issues with this. And then came with two 1S lipos, a USB charger, and what's pretty cool about this is it has a voltage checker. That's kind of neat. Alright, let's go back up. Alright guys, so now that was the up close look. Now we're gonna fly it. We're gonna fly it inside and outside. I just created a new model on accident. Jesus Christ. Probably not worth doing like a separate video on this, but I did get the new DJI foam, and it's so good. It's so good. Like, you won't be able to see it, but it's like memory foam. It's similar to the newbie drone foam, but it's better. And there's no light leak, and I have a big nose, so there's no light leak around the nose. But anyway, yeah, I don't think I can show you, but yeah, it fits so good now. So yeah, we'll just kind of fly it around the house and see how it does. Recording. Something I do with the DJI goggles now when I record analog is I'll just take the quad and jiggle it, because there's a bug with the goggles that when you start recording the AV, it can cause like major latency. So if I just jiggle the quad, I can tell if that happens or not. But if it does happen, you just restart and it goes away. Okay. So again, this is a 1S quad, 18,000 kV motors. So I don't know if it's something with either the Betaflight settings or the firmware, or the way the quad is balanced, but it's really stable. And I only fly in acro mode. I don't fly in angle mode, guys. I know that's it's really common with whoops to fly in angle, but that's just not something I would do. But yeah, it is really like, I think it's bottom heavy because it just like it centers itself really well. And that, you know, with the light camera and the VTX, I feel like that wouldn't be much of a stretch. But yeah, it just feels like it almost feels like a pendulum. But yeah, flying indoors, pretty good control. See all my wife's shoes. Oh. I think we're okay. But yeah, even like not flying in angle mode, it recovers well. So again, I think it's just kind of like bottom heavy. If you guys are learning anything from my reviews, it's that I'm durability testing the crap out of these quads. Okay. So yeah, that was indoor. I think it makes for a good indoor flyer. Just because of the way it's bottom heavy and it's got like that pendulum effect. It seems to balance itself or correct itself pretty well. Now, one thing, the person that I've been working with at BetaFPV, they stressed to me to fly it outside because it's 75 millimeter and it's got the BT 2.0 connectors. So their thoughts are that it should kind of compare to the Tiny Hawk 2 on 2S. So they were like, make sure you fly it outside so you can see the explosive power. Like I think that's what they said verbatim. So let's fly it outside. All right, let's do a little backyard flying with the Meteor 75. The camera is decent. You know, it's not going to be something equivalent to like a nano camera, but it's decent. It's got quite a bit of fisheye, which is common for these micro cameras. I mean, yeah, it does do pretty good outside for being 1S. Oof. So I mean, you know, it's definitely not throwing itself into the air. It's not like hucking itself into the air. But it is pretty controllable. So I mean, yeah, it does pretty good outside, but like I almost wonder if they should have gone with like a slightly higher KV. I don't know, you guys tell me what you think. I mean, yeah, it handles well. my battery at? So I'm at 3.7. So we can probably do about 3 minutes. Yeah, I'm always getting like RSSI warnings. Maybe I need to like lower the warning in the jumper. For this kind of slow flying, it is pretty stable. All right, let's bring it in and kind of talk about it and what our thoughts are. Alright guys, so that was flying the BetaFPV Meteor 75 indoors and outdoors. Now, where's my focus at? So again, BetaFPV reached out to me after they saw the Tiny Hawk 2 review, and they're meaning for this quad to be a direct competitor to the Tiny Hawk 2. And I'll tell you straight up, I was kind of like anxious about doing this review because this is going to retail for $120. Compared to the Tiny Hawk 2, I'm not really sure what you're gaining. So you saw in the backyard the runtime was about 3 minutes, which is... And okay, so if we talk about the BT 2.0 connector, I've seen Kebab's videos about these. I've seen Bardwell's videos about these. In a whoop-sized quad, when we start talking about like connectors and current draw, I'm pretty skeptical, honestly. I mean, it kind of reminds me of people that debate between XT60s and XT90s. Because in FPV, with, talking 5 to 7 inch, 8 inch quads, there's not really any scenario where an XT90 connector is warranted. Like an XT60 is rated to 60 amps, but it can handle like 200 amps before it melts. I mean, it's like one of the best connectors out there. And that's kind of what this BT 2.0 connector reminds me of. Like, I'm not trying to slam BetaFPV. I applaud them for trying to improve, and maybe these are better. But in my experience with these two quads, using the PH2 connector, I don't know what it's called. Like, I'm not noticing much improvement from the connector. Maybe if this quad had the old style connectors, maybe the runtime would be less. That would be a more fair comparison. But just comparing it to the Tiny Hawk 2, I'm not noticing a huge improvement. Like when I fly both on 1S, the runtime's about the same. And as far as again, because again, they asked me to compare this to the Tiny Hawk 2. They both weigh 30 grams. They're about the same size. So even though the Tiny Hawk 2 has a nano camera in it, like a full-size sensor camera, they both weigh 30 grams. They both weigh about, I think it was 43 grams with a 1S 450. And then the Tiny Hawk 2 with a 2S 350 weighs 46 grams. So they weigh exactly the same. Performance on 1S is similar. Again, the Meteor seems to have more of like a self-leveling attribute. Like it almost seems like for like slow indoor flying, we're using lots of yaw. It does seem to be better balanced, maybe. But then again, my Tiny Hawk 2 is not tuned for 1S, so that's not really apples to apples. Durability is okay. I would say, the Tiny Hawk 2 obviously wins for having the better camera. I mean, sticking a nano-sized camera in a quad this size is just like, I don't know if I would say it's groundbreaking, but it's a huge advantage. Because you're going from a micro-style camera, which I never really like these micro-style cameras because they're like super fish-eyed. They're horrible in low light. I brought this to the race, and it just gets really grainy at night. I don't know what size the sensor is, but it's probably smaller. So anytime that I can use a regular style CMOS camera like the Runcam Racer Nano or the Predator Nano or the Runcam Nano, I'm definitely going to prefer that. This guy's going to retail for $120. I don't know if I mentioned that. You know, I guess if you're looking for an indoor whoop, so again, BetaFPV, they were like, you know, fly it outside. I think this is better as an indoor quad, just because of its inherent like stability. I guess compared to the Meteor 65, that thing comes with really high kV motors, so it's supposed to be like kind of insane. If you're looking for something that's a little bit more mellow and has longer flight times, this might be the way to go. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of hard to place this guy. Like, especially, you know, when you compare it to the Tiny Hawk 2. Like, I'm not really sure where it fits in. I mean, it flies great indoors. It's been solid. I haven't lost any props or anything. I haven't broken anything on it. You know, even bringing it to the race and crashing the crap out of it. I mean, it's solid, but, you know, when you compare it to the other options out there. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. That's the review of the BetaFPV Meteor 75. Thank you, BetaFPV, for giving me the opportunity to test this little guy. I will leave links to it. I don't think it's on Banggood yet, but I'll leave the link that I found on BetaFPV's website in the description. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.